Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and welcome back to my tutorial slash playthrough for the Unfallen. It's part 3 of them so far, have been recorded on the same day, almost in a row with brief breaks. I'm trying to get to my record, which was when I was recording the last Unfallen session, when I recorded for almost 4 hours straight. I mean not straight, but cumulatively it was 4 hours. I'm still got a way to go to get to that level, but we'll see how well I do today. Probably not as well, but I'll try. Anyway, here level up, we can do something with him now. As you can see, I can either decrease his damage, which is... yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for, but alternatively I could just make... I could make him gain extra movement points, which, I mean, technically speaking, wouldn't be that bad, but honestly, if you know my style, I like to deal damage, and I believe overall in general it's a better idea to make sure the enemy ships cannot fire back at you than to have any other effects going on. And this guy will be fairly mobile regardless because of his previous skills that I gave him. So yeah, it's all gonna be alright. Now let's assign him. Actually, let's not assign him to the fireship just yet. I do want him to start giving the fireship extra experience from the ability I gave him earlier. How's it called again? Let me just check before it drives me nuts. It's called Cosmic Castaway, yeah. That thing is very useful. But let's keep him here for a little bit longer so he gets a bit extra experience before actually moving him over to the ship. Also, let's get a Slag and Sludge Center if we can. We can't. That's sad, mildly annoys me, and I wish it wasn't the case, but nevertheless, it is the case right now. Now, for this system, which I think I need to start naming those, so that I can more easily remember them, I'll go for a bit of extra... oh yeah, now, extra science would be nice, but I need AI labor just so this system is a bit more productive, and it is really awful. I'm going to colonize another ice planet first, because the amount of time it takes you to colonize a planet is fixed. You cannot speed it up. Your industry also doesn't really matter in that regard. It only matters how harsh the planet is when it comes to colonization. So I can queue this up and it will be done relatively shortly, and once it is done, then Xeno Industrial Infrastructure will give me a little bit of extra industry to work on AI labor and public-private partnerships, which is rather important if you don't mind me saying so. I discovered the home city for the Vodiani, which is nice. Now, I will destroy my ship for the sole reason that I don't want to anger the Vodiani. But firstly, though, let us go ahead and check what they have. They have, it looks like a mix of missiles and kinetics, but mostly missiles, I would say, and defend against other things. And then they have just straight up lasers. And then they have even more lasers, but these ones are mixed with beams as well, it looks like. So they're just using energy weapons and shields, which is not surprising. They are the Vodiani, after all, they get biggest bonuses to those types of things. I meant to describe this guy, not to click on any other window, I don't know what I did. No, as for the Lumeris, let's have a quick look at them. They are... yeah, that's something I noticed just before I started recording. They have swapped their ships out, and now they're using not kinetics necessarily, but this guy, yeah, this guy's using missiles, so they're using projectiles now, and they're also defending against projectiles, which is actually really annoying because I already made dedication towards projectiles, and in fact I started making ships that are projectile based. However, on the other hand, this isn't so bad for the very simple reason that they are using missiles only. I'm using missiles plus kinetics combo, which should counter their stuff, because I can shoot down their missiles, they can shoot my missiles. I can of course one-up this and go for some kind of different build where I create another fireship, but instead of kinetics and missiles, I give it some energy weapons. The problem is my energy weapons are not that exactly great. I've got basic sync laser, and that's about it. That's all I would really be able to do. And basic sync laser in that situation would not necessarily be the best. It wouldn't really get the job done. If I were to add the basic ultra dense slugs to the mix, then sure, maybe it would be a little bit better because it would get some more defense against the enemy missiles. But I like the design I have going for me right now in this current moment. When I have access to light ships, I might change it. I would also love to show you exactly what's the deal with light ships and fire ships. Right now the fact that I'm using fire ships isn't too bad, but the thing is, light ships, if you give them an enhance and focus on either projectiles or energy weapons, light ships do almost the exact same damage as the fire ships can, mathematically. Assuming you give the light ships exactly 2 boosters, and you give the fire ships none because they don't have the spot for that. Of course, you could change that. You could give the fire ships a spot for boosters, increasing the damage even further. Like, I'll show you what I mean exactly. Hey, get back over here. So, if you were, for example, to give this guy a booster, like here, then sure, it would increase his damage even further, firmly assuring his position as your most damaging ship at this stage of the game, as well as the most defensive ship as well. Because, I mean, not quite, because it doesn't have the defensive bonus that the other ship has, but it does have a lot of defense modules, which does help him quite a lot. The thing is, running this kind of setup does require you to run auxiliary ships with your fleet that would support this guy. For example, he would need to have a lot of extra speed given to him by support ships, which you would need to unlock, again, the H-Field Fleet Accelerator for. So not only would you need to unlock it, you would also need to place a lot of it. Because keep in mind, you need 3 of those on your support ship just to make up for the lack of 1 engine on your fire ship. So that's quite a bit of dedication. Okay, you can then make the argument that, well, it's only 1 support ship that you're using. Yes, but then again, using a support ship just as an extra engine in my eyes seems like a waste of command points. Maybe if your fleet is very expansive and very specialized, that would be not a bad idea. In a multiplayer game, yes, you can consider it. But against the AIs that use very simplified designs, I don't think that's exactly necessary. Anyway, let's have a quick look. So I can now assist this valley in their quest, whichever it's gonna be. I need to reach 12 yeah, no, I'm not gonna fulfill this quest. It's impossible. It actually really is. I would first of all need to conquer a minor faction to get any sort of new population in my empire. Right now I have none. Then I would need to breed that population to the point where I have 12 of them, which is nearly impossible. In fact, it is possible, but doing it would be way too tough and not worth the reward. Even though 50 titanium is nothing to sneeze at, but at the same time, it will take way too long. I'll just assimilate them normally using my influence. It's going to be good enough. It will have to be good enough, in fact. Now, technically speaking, using a spaceport and whatnot, and if you already had started Conquest, you could do this, but again, not likely. As any other faction, however, sure, go for it. Anyway, I can now colonize a gas giant, which is nice. I needed to do that because, well, I was again afraid that the Lumerus would get that, and also, wait, I cannot get Sabo because I don't have roots over here. And the Lumerus know of this place, so what I'm going to do is send a vine ship in there again. It's repaired fully, so it should be able to stay there for a while. Oh no! I don't see any ships orbiting the system because I don't have vision of it, but there are still quest ships orbiting it. That's right, that was a mistake to send this guy over there. But fear not, dear vine ship, for you'll be damaged, but you will not be defeated. And I'll send a hero to support you right away. So, Luna Bark says he's at level 7, it's still quite a way for level 8, but not too far away. I'm very tempted to explore the curiosities on Father. Unfortunately, I don't have the time for this. I'll need all of his movement points. In fact, I need to also have a quick look at his ship as well. Because his ship can support a lot of very interesting modules. And also I need to retrofit it in general. Basically, I like to have hero ships doing the roles that your regular ships probably wouldn't be able to do all that well, like supporting a gap in your fleet or something along those lines. And well, that's exactly what I'll do with this guy, assuming I have the money for everything. So first things first, he will need an engine, maybe a repairing engine if at all possible. That would boost his speed quite nicely. Now, I can increase his chance to be targeted. If only I had Antimatter, I would have done so, because hero ships revive after every battle that you didn't lose. And this allows him to be pretty much the perfect meat shield for you, especially if you then also give him the ability to repair damage after each battle. That would be absolutely amazing. Sadly, not something that he can have. So with all the other things that he can have, let's see, I can fill him with kinetics and give him kinetic enhancer for the extra damage, but he wouldn't still deal all that much damage, and he's mostly here to take damage. Besides, I want to diversify my fleet, if at all possible. So I could give him a bunch of basic sync lasers, and then give him a bunch of plasma intensifiers, just to use the fact that the If the enemy adapts to what I'm using with my main fleet and they start running thick armor, they start running kinetics to shoot down my missiles, at the very least I'll still have my hero who will be able to punish the enemy for doing that with his energy weapons, even though these are not very good energy weapons. And actually, how much worse are they? We probably should check that. That's 26 damage. Well, let's check our regular things. Oh yeah, oh no, that's slacks, right. 10 damage and 5% critical. Yeah, no, this just makes no sense, Dio says. It does not. So we're going to... What should I give him? I really wish I could give him Antimatter thingy. But I don't have access to the marketplace, so I cannot even buy Antimatter. Ooh, this is something I need to decide on, don't I? I'll think about it. Alright, I have decided to put all my eggs in one basket. What is a basket? Basket, basically, and have really pretty missiles, but there's method to my madness. You see, I remember that the enemy was using mostly missiles, right? So they're not using kinetics, so they're not countering my missiles. So I don't have to go for beam energy weapons in order to counter the enemy. Of course, sure, they still have some armor, which will give them some percentage bonus defense against my missiles, but still, these are some really scary missiles with critical hit chance, and they also kill crew, although that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They're also extra tough to shoot down if the enemy ever grabs the kinetics, so yeah, I'm satisfied with this output. It's sure, I said it wasn't supposed to be a ship that is dealing damage, but I don't have the antimatter for antimatter lenser, so this is what it will have to be for the time being, I suppose, and that's what we will have to deal with. So now that this is done, I'm going to have this guy sent over to Sable, and apparently this is the fastest route. I'm not actually all that surprised because he is a seeker after all, and he does give my ship some extra movement when he's moving through free space. And apparently this is actually a ton of movement, not just a lot of movement. So there is that done. My outposts turn into a colony and mute. Also, in case you haven't noticed, and you probably have by now, I did change the names of my systems just so it's a little bit easier for me to remember. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter how weird or how normal the names are for the systems that I colonize, unless I edit them myself and make them something whatever, turn them into whatever. I will forget the names of the systems and I will not recognize them right away, which is actually relatively annoying, at least to myself. So anyway, heart will be the heart of my science, and I'm going to give it... I can give you a life form, which would be a decent anomaly, possibly. And then we can start working on probably the Baron plan, just because of how big it is. Then again, Ice is nicer, and... no, Baron is nicer, actually, now that I think about it. I mean, personally, if I were to choose where I want to live on, then I would probably go for Ice, but still, nevertheless, that's not what we are here to discuss. We're here to discuss another technology. And what could that be, you may ask? Well, that's a good question, but I'll tell you right now, it is going to be gamma absorption. First of all, there is some strange... Okay, I can see the game lag spiking a little bit, so I need to restart it. But either way, the reason why I'm going for gamma absorption is because, first of all, I need antimatter capture. I currently have 0 of it, I need a lot of it. Secondly, it also gives me access to microwave pipes, which is absolutely an amazing research to have. It helps industry's feed seed production by a ton, and overall there's no reason not to get it whenever you can get it. After that, I'm looking at crust engineering for obviously adamantium, as well as, you know, extra specialization as an exploitation, because we don't really have too many of those just now. And other thing that I really want is the ultra tough materials, because of how ridiculously much industry it gives you. Additionally, it also boosts your military a little bit, which is not bad. The funny thing is about ultra tough materials, the research itself buffs pacifists, even though it leads into militarists and industrialist upgrades. I don't know how that works, but apparently pacifists are really into the possibility of having conflict. Maybe they're hoping that... I don't know, they could be hoping. They probably shouldn't hope for anything, really. That's gonna lead into disappointment, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to have a sip of my now cold green tea, which is also a bit watered down, which makes it a little bit not as tasty, but maybe it's actually not watered down. Let's check. That was a reaction to the improved high eye plating, because the tea is unfortunately indeed watered down, so not very good. But this is pretty much amazing. I was needing a better ammo module anyway, so this is going to help me quite a lot. Also my hero leveled up, which is nice, and in fact... Oh wow, you're already at this point? When did that happen? I didn't even notice. Anyway, so what do I want for this kind of governor? Well, honestly, there aren't too many things that I want on this tier of play. Obviously, he's got some better stuff later down the line. That's it. Yeah, extra percentage bonus to several things. But right now, he is pretty much what he needed to be. Okay, he's gonna give me some extra influence, which will be somewhat useful. But that's about it. I mostly have him for the extra resources that he can give me. That's the important part. Okay, on the shoulders of supergiants. Apparently I'm supporting something and getting more pacifist technology and other bonuses. Sure, I won't complain. Some people fulfilled their legendary deeds, which is nice. And also getting close-ish to maxing those guys out, but my praise was about to end, so let's increase that a little bit, shall we? So, now I'm gonna have my van ship run away because, yep, it is being attacked as was expected, unfortunately. But we'll deal with that in a moment. Fire ships are already on their way and should do quite nicely. Meanwhile, it looks like our question ship has somewhere to go. We have discovered Iras, which we should be able to go to, you know, unattacked, because those guys are not actually guarding wall. They're just in there, and I don't think they will have the time to intercept me, which is nice. So I'll be able to discuss some more territory, perhaps make some new friends. Right now, however, when it comes to government, I don't want the militaries to be in the lead, because I'm not yet declaring war on the Lumeris. I will, but I'm not quite there yet. I don't even have a fleet of any sort. Okay, I have a small one, but that's about it. So I want to gain as much extra fritzy bonus from the right thing rule before I actually jump the gun. Alrighty then. Your specialization is meaningless to me, so give me a little, give me expanded mines. That would be very nice. And additionally, AI labor won't be very useful actually. It will give me a few bonuses on those two planets, but not too many. So let's focus on the optic research labs and then the AI labor. Maybe I can actually go the other way around. No, it doesn't matter. As for bite, now bite is it doesn't need to bark, it just bites. It's pretty good and pretty awesome in that regard. I don't care about the extra industry, I mean titanium, not industry. What I do, however, want is to colonize another ash plant and follow it up straight away with a lava plant, which is going to allow my population to fully explore the system and utilize it to the best of its possibilities, which is going to be rather lovely and also quite self-explanatory. I don't believe there is anything else to check out. How are the enemy ships? Are they still using... They changed again. Those guys keep changing over and over. This must cost a lot, by the way, mind you. So that's not really that shocking because it's the Lumeris. They have the money in their pockets. But now I guess it's good that I'm going for the long distance route since they're going for the short distance route. They just cannot decide, can they? Well, whatever, not a problem for me, it's gonna be a problem for them instead. Anyways, for the time being, what I'm going to do is wait for the N10 to end and drink some more of my cold, watered down, disgusting tea. Oh. The tea itself in its original form wasn't disgusting, but you see, I made too much of it and some of it was left for later, and now I'm drinking it after adding a little bit of water to it, and it's just not the same as it was when I originally prepared it. What a shock, isn't it? Yeah, that's how tea works, I'll tell you that right now. I'm set to win 2 turns in terms of food fight. Am I surprised or shocked by it? Not in the slightest. This is exactly what I would expect, in fact. So, my fleets have arrived and are immediately attacked by the enemy ships, which is not a problem at all. Do we want to watch this for a change? I mean, it's third video, we haven't watched an actual battle yet. So maybe I should do something about this. So, let us check real quick about our battle plan and what the enemy is using in this case. It's an accelerator with kinetics and a prowler with also kinetics. This isn't worth watching actually, sorry guys, I really am, but we're just gonna crush them really easily and it's not gonna even be funny. So let's just do just that. Even if magically we were to take some damage, our hero is going to heal our ships back to full in no time, and guess what? Some more enemies that we're gonna devastate, and yeah, they're using missiles and a mix of things as well. Oh well, don't care, we will be able to shut everything down very easily. And won't waste our time watching the battles when there are no interesting battles to watch. Now, let us protect the Sable and let us send our van ship back in there again. It will arrive on the next turn, and it will let us expand there safely. Now, once we kill those positrons that are also heading our way, we are going to move away from Sable, because we cannot wait there for too long. We have to use our opportunity that we have our fleet here and clear the last people in order to fulfill our faction quest, which will give us access to better kinetics as well, which will be rather nice. Now you this, Thief, you will be needing the extra improvement, and looks like Lumeris think that I'm not afraid to them, which is foolish, but adorable and cute at the same time. So anyway, I do see a lot of hatching and some lag spikes. You may not, but I do so. Oh wait, now they're gone. Okay, and now they reappeared. I'll restart the game real quick, be right back. Okay, I just restarted the game, so hopefully it will now work a little bit better. Sorry for all the regular cuts in the stream, so that's not a stream, this video so far. I cannot stream, I wish I could. But, well, unfortunately some things are unavoidable, and this is just one of those days, or rather hours, where things just don't necessarily go my way. It happens, I suppose. Anyway, the important thing is, we now have access to Antimatter, which is really quite lovely. We're gonna need to work on Thief in order to get as much Antimatter out of there as quickly as possible. I could reassign my hero over to there, which would not necessarily be a bad idea, especially since, like, his abilities now are all centered around just this one thing. And I'm not sure if he's just in Senate right now. We can check, let's have a quick look-see. Apply the skills and leave and check the Senate. He's not in the Senate as of today, so I could keep him in flesh, and I kind of want to do that because of Hyperium shortages. And sure, I did just say that I need Antimatter, but Hyperium I need a bit more right now because I seriously would like to have more. So let's check the survey. Scientists have a chance of being in the Senate. I'll support them. Maybe our hero will be there. Then he'll boost our general strategic resource generation, which will be very, very important. I do need that quite badly. But I can also go for expanded mines, which will also help me in that regard, which is rather important. Alrighty then, let us go ahead and kill the positrons. They are using what? Shield stuff? Alright, that's not a problem. I can just go ahead and go for shield absorption, and this should be an easy fight. Again, no need to watch it. I do want to watch a battle, trust me. The one good thing about the last video was, or rather last series that we never got to witness, was the fact that, well, I had battles starting from turn 1. Not very interesting ones, but battles nevertheless. In here I don't, so I'm really hoping for an exciting war against the Lumeris. That will be really fun. Not for them, mind you, but for me it certainly will be. Alright, now as for our home system, I think we could make some more ships, and the enemy... I don't know what the enemy is planning now in regards of to their military technology, so I won't bother with that. I will go for crust engineering just so that I can start harvesting adamantine. It's just way too important of an upgrade to ignore. There are a few other things, thingies? I suppose you could call them thingies, yes. But then considering I want to get access to the light ship at some point in the future, Hopper Packs is also something important as well. And then I could also either upgrade the foreign class ship, although I'm not too interested in that right now because of how fleet ships have to be, or instead I can grab Xenoanthropology, which will give me even more influence. But right now I'm swimming in this, and in late game influence is completely worthless. We're not in late game yet though, so it's not worthless yet, but it might become such later down the line. So that's the thing I'm worried about. Flesh and Mute both actually need orders. Alright, Mute first, just because you cannot stand up for yourself since you're mute, so I'll help you in that regard a little bit. Now, as for the flesh, okay, I did say I name my systems so I can remember what they are. Oh yeah! Flesh is my capital, right. I need to remember how I named it though, because right now it's still not helping me. I don't have antimatter yet for the thingies, so I can just make a fire ship, I suppose, just to have it. I could also make 2 of them at the same time, because hey, why not? It is going to boost the military support party a little bit, but only a little bit, and besides, I think they are already boosted. Let's have a quick check, alright? Let's go into the system, check what bast. I keep saying bast instead of boosts militarists. So, I have won a battle, yes, event, militarist technologies, enemy fleet. I actually don't have a bonus from making ships on the system. What about the bite? Did you give them a bonus? Yeah, they do have a bonus for 17 turns. So ideally, I only want to create militarist ships in one system, so that only one system supports military. And flesh, I mean, flesh supported militarists would be pretty bad, because it's a very densely populated system, but at the same time it's the one that makes a lot of ships very fast, so I do want it to actually do this kind of thing. Besides, I was looking for something for it to do for this one turn anyway, because next turn we're gonna make microwave pipes, which are going to be highly efficient use of our resources. And I guess the second set we'll place on Byte, since it is our secondary production hub. I produced the most food in the galaxy, which gave me ionic crystal, which I will never ever get to use, because generally speaking...
deserve the closest scrutiny.
Yes, I know. Because generally speaking, you only really want to use luxuries for system development. I mean, in some cases you do want to use them for your population in order to give them a boost into procreating, sure. But when you want to boost your system development, then you definitely want luxury resources that you can repeatedly gain access to, as in you have a resource of, that you can renew in terms of how much you have. I, for some reason, fail with English right now, but I assume you know exactly what I'm talking about. For example, I'm willing to use Jade Onyx because I can get more of it later, so no matter how many systems I will use with level 2 modernization, it will always stay relevant. As for ionic crystals, I have no sources of them, so there's a big threat that I might be able to use them on one system and then never again. Besides, I didn't get that many of them anyway. Anyway, let's go ahead and install the microwave pipes while we can, because they are really an amazing piece of technology. How many command points do we have access to? Only 10. That's actually really rubbish. So after crust engineering, we will need to... let's see, that's plus 3 bonus. We kind of want to have extra bonus where it comes to control points. And in order to do that, we will need to get better military technologies, which I'm not really quite feeling like doing just yet. So but I kind of want to do that at the same time. I will think about it. We don't have to do this right this instance. I scream you're useless, but go for serial reality, I suppose. Air labor, maybe not right now. Maybe public-private partnerships would be good enough. As for the taste, which is giving me a taste of my enemy, I'll go for microwave. Just kidding. I will not go for microwave pipes. All you can really give me is extra science, because you're kind of useless otherwise. And as for Byte, I do want you to colonize another planet, but first of all, microwave pipes is by far more important. Alrighty then, I think we're good in that regard. Our fleet is colonizing and guarding the system from enemy positrons as well. Let's support the scientists. Like I said, I would make sure that they get into the Senate, although, as I said, we are playing as a democracy. We can make sure that anything happens over here, because people are just unreliable and difficult to predict. And of course, despite the poll results, the scientists do not get into the Senate, which is really annoying, actually. Oh well, why did I want scientists? Oh yeah, because I have an amazing senator, that's why I wanted scientists to be there. Oh, then again, the positive is that we have an industrialist party in the lead again, which will let us achieve the same thing, essentially, by which I mean gather more strategic resources. At the cost of extra influence, but then again, I don't think I'm about to run out of influence anytime soon. So, without further ado, let's ignore the lower fleet cost for now. It's been working for us good enough, but we don't need it anymore. Also, please click, there we go. And we're going to enact the Mineral Misers Act. We don't need Trusted Broker, it's mostly useless for us at this stage of the game and at every other stage of the game. Honestly, you want the Pacifist Party because of its passive bonus, not necessarily because of any of its other bonuses. Also, it's annoying because... oh yeah, destination should be available, I think. So yeah, he was able to retreat just fine. The game tech scared me a little bit right there, but it's okay. And I'll discuss some more systems, potentially be able to expand to them via my set of routes. Meanwhile, Thief is another system that could use of microwave pipes, because it is a very productive system indeed. And as for my fleet, it needs to stay here because those positrons keep going back and forth, and that Van ship still needs a bit more time. 3 more turns, yeah, the protons might make it over to that system by that point. So yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. I still don't have access to adamantium gathering, but I will in a moment, so let's go for expanded mines, and then I'm not gonna go for microwave pipes. I might as well. The system is well developed already. It will be able to support construction of microwave pipes at a relatively fast pace, so that's good. Let's go ahead and end the turn, and you see how useful Antimatter is already for us. And trust me, it will get even more useful once we actually get to make ships using Antimatter. Not even not excluding the fact that Antimatter is necessary in order to actually make any carriers, and the carriers are pure awesomeness. Although, when it comes to Unfallen, I would say the carriers are the most lame source of them all. Maybe not of them all, but I would really need to think about it before confirming or denying either of those statements, because, yeah, they don't have the best carriers, actually. Let's get Conscription Genius, because I don't think there's any other skill I would rather have. I mean, I could lower the cost of this hero, but again, I don't really care. Or make him be unassigned more frequently, again, not something I care about, so let's just change that.
Bask in the light of the virtual.
Okay, so the Vodiani really like me for the reason that I don't do anything with them or to them, so that's understandable, I suppose. Let's send probes in random directions and then go in a different direction. I discovered T-Canola, which is, I suppose, nice. For the time being, I won't bother doing anything with those minor factions. They don't seem to be all that interesting anyway, so that's not really exactly important. And Wheel is here. Thankfully, it's at peace with me, so it cannot suck up the life essence of my people, which would probably literally be sap. Also, what's that? Oh, I have Lost City NP artifacts. That's actually really good. I didn't expect to have that. So, yeah, okay. Port deposit, I don't care. It's still a really good resource to have. I mean, not necessarily really good resource to have, but it is a resource I did not expect I would have. That's the more important thing right now, I suppose. Alright, I don't think there's anything else for us to do right now. Now, flesh and research. Alright, so flesh, just give me a bit more science production for the time being, because I don't need to have more military. And as for research, ultra tough materials are very tempting right now. However, there are also other things that I could consider grabbing, such as retrofitting my ships into even better ones, but what is even more pressing, even more of a pressing concern, and something I want to get even faster, is extra control points on my ships. So, what kind of technology do I want to get in order to get to this era? Honestly, I don't really care about beams. Beams, in my opinion, are the least useful weapon out of all weapons in the game. Sure, once they do fire, they are ridiculously powerful, but the problem is getting them to fire in the first place, since they only do so in short range. They're not useful enough, in my opinion, to justify them. They're not very underpowered, they're not completely broken and not useful in any scenario, but in my opinion, compared to the other weapon, they are underpowered. Because you can just counter them way too easily with way too many weapons. But with that with that said, let's see, I could go for even better plating. Oh yeah, I was supposed to retrofit my ships before making them. Oops. In fact, what kind of plating do we have? Do we have the exact same thing? This gives me 1% of experience bonus and 53 projectile defense. What about the other thing we just got from some random quest or whatever? This one gives us 35 and 102 health bonus. So is it a bit better? I don't know. It's very similar, so there's really little reason to go for titanium electroplating. So improved fleet management, not really something important. So I think I will go for survival suits, just because tactical expertise is a useful thing to have, battle plan to have rather. And after we're done with that, I suppose, with considering the amount of titanium we have and the kind of rockets we're using, and the fact, I mean, kinetics, we're gonna get the Koyasu kinetics, so we're not gonna be interested in those kinetics. But having even better missiles for every ship, then again, we already have better missiles, don't we? This is 33 damage and 5% crit chance. What are the missiles we already have access to? 26 damage and 5%. 26, and what was the other one? I already forgot. 26, 26, 26, 26, 33. So it is better. Not by much, but it is better. And as such, I will get this research. I don't really care about any of those researches right here. In fact, yeah, literally none of those. So, except for this one because of its usefulness with battle cards, and also I suppose that sometimes maybe basic flotilla shield could come in handy. I doubt it will ever be the case, but still, I have lots of titanium improvements. I don't have Hyperion improvements, so it's not a bad idea to get those. I won't retrofit fire ships just yet. I don't think there's a need to do that. I'll just end this turn and continue progressing. Things are turning a bit slow, so I'll try to pick up the pace before end this video. We still have plenty of time to do so as well, and my goal will be maybe not necessarily to start a war, but this would be pretty interesting if I could, wouldn't you agree? Also a very good cliffhanger, so I'll try to definitely do something of the sort. Alright, the Protons are still making the way towards Sable, but it looks like they might actually not make it in time. No, they are here. Alright, so let's go ahead and murder them horribly, so that they don't interfere with our operations of entwining. And now that they're gone, I'm going to send my fleet. I don't care about those protons. I'm gonna send my fleet over to WoW so that I can finish my faction quest nice and easy. And it's hilarious how it's faster for me to travel without Starlines than it is to travel via the Starlines. I do find that really amusing. Alrighty then. Vanship is pretty much done. All of my things have production queued up. Nothing else to do but to move my scouting ship. And I can see there are Riftborn.
We come into your cosmos on a mission of survival.
Yes, I know. Riftborn are really awesome, and I really like their ships. They're my second favorite ships in the game because of both the design and their usefulness. Actually, no. If I were to be completely honest, when it comes to the cost efficiency, they are not my on second place. Definitely not. There are other factors that have better, for example, Horatio. But Riftborn are still nevertheless really fun, and I have a special fondness of them because in game files they are called Time Lords, which does translate into PANCZASU, which, you know, is kind of my name. So, yeah, that I do appreciate that.
In this cosmos we have come to understand. You're not one of them.
Oh, that's sad, but I don't know what I want myself. I kind of want to kill everybody, but I feel like I should be a little bit pacifistic while doing so, so maybe you can help me figure this thing out. I can give you like 5 adamantium if you're at peace with me, and in return I'll get infinite amount of Fitzy. Oh wow, you're so into it. Yes, I have a feeling we're gonna be the bestest of friends. So let's see, what do they say?
I still don't trust you, but this decision gives us hope for the future.
Yes, I like this a lot.
Objective.
And they don't know what my objective is because I'm entering the space with a question ship. That's alright, we'll just fly out of here as quickly as possible after sending some probes out, of course, because sending probes is always important. Let's end this then, let's drink some more of my disgusting tea. There, it's now completely drank. And there were some bits of the leaves at the bottom of it, so that's also irritating for my throat, so I don't appreciate that actually, dear T. I don't appreciate that at all. But what I can do right now is colonize, and this place has a lot of arid planets and a desert. Something I didn't anticipate before. But that doesn't really matter right now. I will probably want to colonize those arid planets at some point because of the Antimatter deposits. Not right now, it's not very important for me. Anyway, Sable, I need to rename you into... what was I planning to name you? Was it Body? I think it was Body. Yeah, let's call you Body. You have a very dry body, actually. Oh, I should call you Skin then. Because skin can be dry. Dry skin is a really awful thing, by the way. I myself have very dry skin. I need to use some creams. Not creams. I don't know, beauty products, whatever they are called, I don't know, I'm a guy, I don't know those things even though I use them, but stereotypes are important to uphold, so I have no idea what I'm using. So anyway, let us speed up the drone network. There's no need to do that actually now that I think about it, but whatever, let's go for cerebral reality as well, just to have this little bit of extra stuff. We're attacked, that's not a problem, the enemy will be destroyed without mercy. In a moment, and our faction quest is done. We have learned little else. So this is done. We have access to colossal kinetics, which are very good kinetics, but we now also have access to alternative kinetics that are made of titanium, and as such we have to choose which one we want. We have a ton of titanium, so we'll probably just use the titanium ones, assuming they're better. Anyway, a new quest started for us, as always. Feel free to pause the video to read the story out. And now we have two options. We can either integrate, which is impossible to fulfill, but it would give us center of light and life, which normally isn't bad, but in our cases it is actually bad, because of how ungettable this quest is. Otherwise we can go for understand, which I like way more because it's going... I think we are almost at the point where we auto-completed that, if we have not already auto-completed this. So, defects of Harmony of the Heart, I don't care about whatsoever, it's just to make us progress through the story a little bit further. So let's go ahead and confirm the fact that we want to understand things, and that's it. Now let's send our fleet back where it came from, and prepare for an actual attack. We're not quite there yet where I feel very comfortable attacking, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind it too much, let's say. Alright, level 2 modernization for you, just... no, I think I need this for some other system now that I think about it. But I can give you optic research labs. And with that done, no research queued, but I can get some more... what's it called? Command points, there we go! Stupid brain sometimes fails me. I suppose our brains fail us at all times, quite frequently, but at the same time they are also much more unfading most of the time, so I don't even know what I'm saying. My brain is currently certainly at the point where it is failing me, but I still like it. How can I not? Anyway, let's go ahead and explore some more of the riftable systems while also getting away from the space so that they are not too angry with us, because I want them to be my friends, because they improve my economy by being friends with me somehow. I don't get how this works either, but I'm glad that it does. I certainly am. Alright, universal aerodynamics are in progress, and I should actually check if Flash can do something else. It can't. Alright, just making sure, just making sure. I will need to retrofit my ships, but I have so much dust I'll be able to do this without any problems whatsoever. I can also upgrade my tanks now that I think about it, so let's go ahead and do just that. So we're having a quick look-see at my military tab. Dear tanks, you can be much better now, which is going to be useful. I cannot afford dealing extra damage to infantry troops, but once I do, oh, I'm gonna be so good when it comes to conquering systems. It's going to be terrifying, truly terrifying. A terrifying sight to see. So, now I have 4 FPS, I don't know why, but I guess a lot of things were happening this particular turn. Doesn't really matter. Turns out that Pisces, this is a really good home system, holy balls. Riftborn are known to have good home systems, but this is ridiculous. Anyway, let's retreat. And my ships cannot actually retreat, so I guess I'll just get extra dust from his death. It doesn't matter, he did his job, he discovered a bit of territory and allowed him to send a new peace treaty, which will be very important for keeping my efficiency bonus once I actually resume with the offensive. I don't think I want to put down the... Actually, now I have so much resources. So many resources, I can actually put down microwave pipes in taste and it will be alright. They will taste the microwave pipes. Bite, however, needs some orders. Expand mines will be okay in here because it's not like this place has much else to do at this point in time. And it cannot explore those routes because I'm not good enough to do that yet. And I'm missing the technology to fix anything in the system. Yeah, I will need to do things in order to make Bite more useful. However, for the time being, I can send one of the fire ships to start getting more experience from being in a fleet with a hero. And Universal Aerodynamics is almost done. And once it is done, I will also add some air ships to my overall ground ships composition because, yes, they do get shot down by infantry quite hard, but they are themselves also quite good. Then again, going for 100% tank setup is probably a little bit better for the time being, so I'll keep doing what I'm doing, what I've been doing so far. Alright then, new turn has started. Now I could wait until the election before I attack the enemy. Doing this would allow the pacifists to stay in power for a little bit longer, because trust me, when I'm at war, militarists will take over. But if I start the war as soon as the election is done, then I'll still keep the right-wing rule going for just a little bit longer. I already removed them! Alright, whatever, I don't care what you guys say, you're kinda weird. Maybe they're talking about probes or whatever, but still, it doesn't really matter to me in the slightest. Things happen somewhere, doesn't really matter. Again, now let's merge all those ships, and I still have a bit room for more. In fact, I can fit in 2 extra ships, and I don't have the access to light ships just yet, so... Well, I decided to wait until the election anyway, so I might as well, you know, go along with my promise. And I don't care about National Museum all that much. I do want a discount on alliances, I suppose, and there are toxic places I could colonize, I suppose, as well. But what I care about a bit more is, let's have a quick look, see, extra science is useful. The extra repair will also be very useful for my ships, so I suppose I can go for that. Reviews and enables the use of wormholes is nice, and at some point I will need to colonize Arctics too, so I can queue this up as well. And this will also increase the support for the Scientist Party, which is definitely something that I do want, so that makes me rather happy. Oh yes, I was also supposed to increase my industry income through ultra tough materials. So I will do just that, and things are going alright so far. Now I could end this video right here, but I want to at least get to the election so that I can truly end this video, you know, on a cliffhanger, because cliffhangers are fun for everybody except everybody. Everybody hates cliffhangers, but they do make people come back to their shows, and I want to exploit you, obviously. I always do. Also, I have access to geotestable plans already? Why wasn't I not putting those everywhere? I have no idea, but right now it feels like a waste putting this here when I can just use Plant Cracker for the time being, so this is exactly what I am going to do. But however, I will put in industrial plants everywhere I can, just so that they are ready. It costs pennies in terms of industry, but I, again, might as well utilize all of it. And I might even do this on the temperate... Nah, it's more important so that I gather all the titanium there is on this system, so I will wait for that. I'll end the turn nice and easy. There wasn't really much for me to do. I need to be at war so I have more interesting turns, otherwise you're gonna be bored by what is happening here. So let's try and speed it through until the next election, and it will be a little bit difficult because I need to also keep track of everything I do and make sure it's done correctly. Like, for example, right now we have a new hero and we need to pick wisely. Overseers are awesome and they'll support parties that will probably stay in the parliament. For example, you. Militaries will be in the parliament from now on until forever, most likely. So having an overseer, especially an imperial overseer, is a pretty good idea. So I'm gonna hire this guy and assign him some skills. So, most importantly, I need him to give me an extra industry and food as well, but we don't care about food. Then I'll assign him to Byte, because I'm pretty sure that Byte is my second most productive system when it comes to industry. In order to check that though, I need to remove plant crackers. And it looks like, yeah, Byte is the second leading system. So I will assign this guy over there, and now look at the amount of industry it gets. Mostly due to the percentage bonus I get from being at peace with people, which does help indeed. So anyway, Flash can get for Trade Clearing Bureau, which is actually really nice, and this system can use the extra star system trade value. So I will get that. I'll definitely get that. It will also level up my hero till infinity, which I don't care about too much because he already has what he needs, honestly. So I'm not too keen on that necessarily, but I suppose worse things have happened. And the problem is I already assigned my heroes before I realized I can make this improvement, so now it's a bit late. I cannot make this improvement on Byte, because Byte will not be able to create any trade networks, because it's not in my constellation per se. So that's a bit of a problem, a bit of a bummer, one might say. But oh well, things like that do happen, I suppose, from time to time. You will go for Plant Cracker, and as for other things, Mute... Oh wow, Mute actually has access to Quadrinics. This is really nice. I'm gonna colonize this gas giant. Oh wait, it's already colonized. That's really nice. I'm gonna go for Second Sludge Center for the future. Right now I don't need it, of course. And followed up with Interplanetary Transport Network. As for the wall, more industry is always nice, especially since this system desperately needs a flat bonus to industry. And let's follow it up with geoindustrial plants and also optics research thingy. Thief doesn't really need much except for extra industry, but right now it's more important to get a plant cracker going, and everything else seems to be for the most part set. Except for the fact that I can improve my ships, but I could also wait for that until I have access to better versions of my ships. Wasn't that what I actually wanted to do? Yes, it was, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, but I forgot about that at some point again, because my memory is full of holes. So, I do believe I have access to toxic plants, but let's make sure that this is the case. Wait, I don't think I actually do have access to toxics. Oh yeah, I have access to one toxic over a taste. Mute doesn't have a toxic. Skin might. Skin doesn't. Thief might, but if it does... No, it doesn't. It has a desert and a wall. Also doesn't have a toxic, so I don't care about toxic too much. So I might go for... I don't care about new government types. Diplomacy... Not diplomacy. Dystopia... No, not dystopia. What's it called? Democracy, that's how it's called. It's serving me quite well. And getting access to even more influence would not necessarily be bad, although it would not also be very useful either. So you know what? I'm just gonna go for extreme composites and follow it up with... I know what, I will go for xenoanthropology, why not? There's no real reason not to do so, I suppose. Now, in the meantime, I will retrofit my ships and design my light ship. Now, this is the ship I've been telling you so many stories about. It's basically pretty cool, and the most important thing is, as I said, that as a coordinator, it focuses down on the enemy attacker and hunter ships, which are usually the main source of the enemy's damage. At the same time, it's also taking extra damage from the enemy, because the enemy hunter and attacker ships will focus on this guy. The thing is, though, he can be defensive, he can take this damage, and he can also dish out the damage to the ships that the enemy has that cannot defend themselves. Whereas a hunter will focus down on the enemy ships that are supposed to take damage, it will focus on the enemy tanks. This is a tank that also deals good damage. So I'll treat it as such. However, because I'm already using a lot of fire ships, I might change my plans a little bit and make this guy more of a support role. So let's have a quick look, see at what I can give him. I definitely want to give him, obviously, engines. That's a necessity for us. Now, as for the weapons, I'm gonna give him... Actually, we have a lot of choices right now. You have improved fusion torpedoes, which are the best torpedoes we can possibly get. And we have improved ultra-dense slugs. As opposed to the one of those is PANCZASU slugs, so that's 13 and costs nothing. And those slugs are way better. So slugs are on the top in order to help defend our fleet from incoming missile attacks should the enemy use missiles. Then missiles at the bottom in order to attack the enemy ships with missiles. That looks really beautiful, by the way. And now the question is, do I want this to be an actual attack ship? Maybe not. I think I will actually treat it as a support ship now, since I'm using fire ships as my attack ships. So I'll give it adamantium repair bots, which costs, yeah, sure, a ton of adamantium, but it's also extremely useful. And then I'll potentially make enemies fire at this ship. I don't know. I feel like my fire ships are better taking damage right now than this ship is, and this ship is a bit important when it comes to my plans. So I might give it, let's see, basic flotilla shield would not hurt necessarily. Antimatter reshield, not very important, I don't think. And I don't want the enemy to actually focus fire on this ship either. I could lower the chance of this ship being targeted, but again, not something I'm too interested in. I think I'll just leave everything as it is and give this guy some nano repair bots as well, in order to make him be able to be even harder to destroy, which is really important. I am tempted to give him the basic flotilla shield, but I don't think this will be really useful, since I will be rocking improved high plating with the extra shields, which by itself is already giving me a ton of shields. 40% mitigation is all I really need and care about, so yeah, there's that done. I will apply the changes as they are now, and I like this ship quite a bit. Now, as for my fire ship, however, it does need to be retrofitted somewhat, so I'm going to... Oh, wow, that looks nice. I will keep the same design I had before, except I'll replace all missiles and kinetics with better versions made of titanium, because I do have a ton of titanium, don't I? Also, I'll give this guy some extra armor to make him extra defensive against enemy projectile weapons. Almost 50% negation, this is absolutely amazing. I could give him the extra shooting, but I do not have a very high amount of Hyperion, so I'm not necessarily gonna do that. So yeah, I think this guy is ready as well. He is pretty beastly. Now, and I can instantly retrofit all of my ships, which is again really nice. I can also now make my hero ship more likely to be targeted, which I will do after deliberating about this for so long in the past. And because of what I did, I'll also give him the ability to repair the damage a bit more easily, and also, that's very important, I'll give him a bit better plating so that he can survive the damage, and finally I'll give him improved ultra-dense slugs so he can shoot down the enemy incoming missiles, which will help him survive quite a bit. Alrighty then, now this fleet is horrifying to see, and it's not even maxed out because it needs a few more light ships, which I can make over at Byte. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 light ships. I'll make them instantly, which is nice. I'll send my fleet over there as well, just so I can transport those light ships more easily from Byte into my other systems. Also, I don't necessarily want Flash to be even more focused down on militarists, because once militarists get in power, I may want to have them removed. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that, well, I want to make sure that they are not in power too early. So there's that done. Okay, I think everything is ready for the most part. Thief doesn't have anything he needs to work on right now, so let's go ahead and end the 10. This will be an hour-long video after all, it turns out, which I'm not gonna complain about, and you might not complain about either. It's nice to see those kind of lengthy videos, and I do want to reach 10:51 before I end this. Although, there's so much stuff that we will still need to do before that does happen, so... Hey, I said apply skills. So you know what, I might end it on a cliffhanger right now. Just because, come on, apply the skills. Not... Okay, thank you, there we go. AI was really thinking about a lot of things. Okay, yeah, I did said I would remove fleets from your system, and we got more faction quests, so I suppose we can deal with that before we move on. You can read that as much as you want. And by pausing the screen, obviously. Now I can get Revolution, which is extremely easy to fulfill, but it gives me useless reward. Ultra Edition, which is also easily to fulfill, but it gives me Drift Buds, which I might as well get, because who knows, maybe I'll be able to harvest them later down the line. So, we'll go for Tradition. we discover some more factions, and I'm gonna end it here. Ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Spammer. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned until we start a war in the next episode.